Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Maximum, and we're gonna be talking about the 5 Nights at Freddy's kills, but if they were rated R. Now, just to be aware, there will be spoilers, so yeah, and if you hear weird noises, I am so rushed making this. I am so sorry, and I'm also not sorry. Anyways, let's get started. So, the reason why I'm going so quickly is I already made an audio for this, and it lasted somehow 15 minutes, and it felt like less than 10 minutes, so I'm gonna try to make this fast. Then, let's get started. First of all, of course, the old security guard. Now, the old security guard is, an off-screen kill, of course. Now, obviously, it's PG-13, so I'm not going to show anything, but whenever he's just simply trying to run away from Foxy, it cuts out to black, right? What I would change from this sequence is that instead, Foxy would get him with his hook from a specific part of his body. Really, any part, except, of course, the brain, because then that would easily kill him. But a part that can easily just, get him there. And just start to pull him, and maybe the hook could just, move too much, or maybe just rip off a part of his body. But not enough, and then he would be already in the contraption. When he's in the contraption, he's about to get, by all the gears and all the sauce, and then it cuts to the arcade. What I would change. The change I would obviously make is actually show it from a specific area, which is the middle of the mask, where you're able to see a hole wherever his face is. And then you can maybe see some blood going through the face there, the sauce going through, but mostly it would be blood on the ground, which would be splattering, and then it would proceed to cut out to the arcade. So then it would have it still cut out. And then after that, there we have the burglars, which the first one is Carl. Carl is, of course, the one looking through the kitchen, which he probably shouldn't, because all of that pizza inside there is from Chica. He shouldn't have robbed her. But then after that, basically he has to just go ahead and look behind him. And then Chica and Cupcake are there, and Cupcake starts munching on him. And, munch for like 10 seconds. And then after an hour of the movie, they do show the corpse with a lot of blood on the face and a bit of gore. What I would change, of course, I do want it so they could actually show more visibly. Is that a word? Nah, probably not. I'm inventing words. I love inventing words. But anyways, Carl would then be munched over and over, but the difference is there would actually be blood splattering all over his head and onto the floor, and a bit of meat, brain matter. And not just that, but maybe if they would have liked to change, I would have actually preferred if they ripped off his nose. Now, obviously, it would have been with shaky cameras, so they don't necessarily show completely, but you still get that ambitious look at it. And not just that, but I also think I would have probably changed it, where they would have made a scene, spoiler alert from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, spoiler alert from it, there's a scene where High Evolutionary is crashed over and over by Rocket, and you see a lot of shaky cameras through his mouth and his face, having a lot of blood, and heck, he even needed a mask because his face was completely ripped off, and he was just with a lot of blood through the face. Something similar I would have liked with this kill. Next one is Hank. Hank is the one where we least know what happened, because we just don't see anything at all. We don't even see his corpse after a while, like the others that do. This one is just completely gone. So what I would change is that since we don't really see anything, the hand that is basically shown through the door could be after a while, because the hand is then gone. What if Bonnie ripped off his limb? That hand specifically. What if he used it to beat him up with it? Like, that could have been cool. Kind of like another spoiler from a different movie, but I think a lot of you probably haven't seen movies if you're a gamer. So I don't think it's really a spoiler, but a guy gets killed on a movie called Barbarian, where a monster uses a limb of his hand, basically, to beat him to death. So I would have picked something like that, but not as bad as that, because obviously it's an animatronic. It's too heavy to move himself too much. So that's probably the only change. Or maybe they could show just a bit of blood or punches. Maybe Bonnie could do, because he probably knows some wrestling. Then after that we have Jeff. Jeff kind of gets killed by Foxy through the hallway. And I would have preferred, obviously, they show the aftermath of the body with blood on the cheek. But maybe what they could have shown is, if they wanted, obviously the hook going through his cheek. But then after that, I would prefer either two things. Number one, his jaw being ripped off, or two, his throat being ripped off, or sliced off, of course. Slit. Like, the interesting way to mention it. Slit. But yeah, they kind of could have done that as well. I would have enjoyed it. You know, just enjoy some of the activity. So then after they show the body, it would have like no mouth, right? Or if they want to go simple, just the neck, or like the slit. Then after that we have Max. Now Max is, she gets munched in half by Freddy, and it's the most graphic death of the movie in my opinion. And we do see a lot of it. But what I would change is that we see through the inside of Freddy, whenever Max gets munched in half. But the only difference is that there's three differences. But the first one is that whenever she gets munched in half, we see her face and body inside of the Freddy suit, and then we just see her die, through the inside of him. And then the body itself, instead of shadow, it would be completely shown, of course. It would actually be the whole thing. And then instead of falling and we see the legs, we would see where the hole is, the intestines. So that would be a good change. And of course, a bit more light, considering it's too dark and we don't really see anything completely anyway. So it's not like it's a big thing. But yeah. Then after Max, it would be the last one, the spring lock sequence. Now the spring lock sequence is of course the one scene where everybody wanted it to be gore. It wanted blood, it wanted guts. And I do. And it was pretty disappointing in a way, but what we got was interesting. It was decent, but it was pretty underwhelming. But basically, I just kind of want to do a few things. So first things first is see obviously Springtrap with blood splattering everywhere, even the animatronics with blood. Of course, that's what people wanted, to see all the blood splatter. But another detail I want is whenever the spring locks go inside of him, we see the insides of him and the spring lock through his belly, and it could possibly be twisting even more through his organs. That could have been interesting. I know I'm going so graphic, but oh yeah, I have no control today. But yeah, that could have been an interesting move, and I also think they could have definitely changed it if it was rated R, because they're never doing a rated R cut, unfortunately. But yes, I do think they could have done it where they could have, showed that, and they could have added a lot of blood splattering, and maybe more agony of course, William Afton screaming or something. And as soon before he dies, he might have said, "I always come back," instead of him putting the mask, being in a happy little time saying,
"I always come back."
So yeah, that was most of the death changes I would add if it was rated R. Some other details, of course, we got on Jane. We don't see anything. We don't even know if she dies or not. We just see her flopped on the ground and the spirit says, "Oh, she's just sleeping," which sometimes means she's dead. But what if she is really sleeping? What if she just got a bumped head? So I'm gonna say she might be alive, but if she is dead, and we could go some detail, maybe she looks behind her. She looks behind her. And then she sees Golden Freddy. She gets a bonk of the head, and not just a bonk of the head, but maybe, just maybe, they could show a little bit of maybe a stabbing or something. Maybe she gets impaled. Then after that, we also have one last one, which is whenever Mike is in his dream, he is just simply, being stabbed over and over by the animatronics. Of course, we will see more detail of that. I'm not going to specify too much because I don't want to keep going here too much, but yeah, more detail on that a little bit. And then that's about it. If you guys enjoyed, I know I have to do this quickly. You could like and subscribe. No forcing, but you can do it. You can hit the notification bell if you want to know more videos when they come out, as well as check my social medias and the link in the description so you can always know when I put something, even though I don't use them that frequently. Anyways, I am Maximum. Don't have a good day, have a great day, and see you on the flip side.